Welcome back, everybody, to another syracuse.com SOS Spotlight Athlete of the Week. This week, we're lucky enough to be joined by one of the best young pitchers in Section 3 from Cazenovia, Jack Byrnes, a junior. The reason why Jack is here is, well, there's a couple of them, but the biggest reason is he's coming off a big shutout win of Skaneateles last weekend, one of the best teams in the section. So we'll start right there, Jack. Big game. Do you get nervous? Take us through that Skaneateles game.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on the show. But
Sure.
To get me ready for the game, I try to be social with my team. Try to get that gets me mentally ready for the game. Even if I'm not pitching, but since I was pitching, I really made sure I was mentally focused for the game.
I assume, as being one of the better pitchers, you get up for the best teams, the best games. Take me through your preparation. Is it a focus that, hey, you have to be extra sharp this day because Skaneateles is very good?
I would say so. I was definitely nervous going into the game, not knowing how well they were going to hit the ball. But I knew I had faith in me pitching and in faith in my defense that we were going to win that game. So yeah.
Well, when you are facing a big opponent, the tendency might be to try and do too much, overthrow, to put too much pressure on yourself. Any particular ways you try and focus or stay calm, or I guess the cliche is stay within yourself, but how do you sort of lock in without getting too hyped up against a big opponent?
Well, I mean, I know from baseball, if I try to do too much, then things don't really go well. So I just try to make everything as simple as possible when I pitch. I just know if I throw strikes and just not walk people, I'll get outs. And that's the name of the game. Getting outs is how you win games.
So if you were a hitter facing you, the pitcher, what kind of a scouting report would you give yourself as a pitcher when things are working well? What's working for you?
Well, if I was hitting against myself, I would think to myself that he likes to throw a fastball. Because when I pitch, I think I can throw fastballs past kids. So if I was a hitter, I would think, be ready for the fastball and just hit it when you see it. Because that's my favorite pitch personally.
What have you been clocked at? Have you had any air gun?
In early March, I was clocked to 82, but I hope that's gone up since, but I don't know. I haven't done yet.
It's command too, right? I mean, that's probably more important than speed. Yeah. I think you've allowed just 4 earned runs this year in about 35 innings. So even those who get on or hit you, they're not leading to runs. Does that surprise you at all? Somebody said to you at the start of the year, you'll be 2/3 of the way through the season or 3/4 of the way and only have 4 earned runs given up on your resume?
I'm surprised right now that that's the case. We have much harder schedule this year than we did last year, but our team, our defense has definitely showed out and limited errors, which I mean, I don't give runs if no one gets on base because we make plays.
Do you have a favorite major league pitcher?
Not really. They're all pretty good. So
Anybody, not that you style yourself after, but you kind of see the pitch and think, that's kind of the game I would like to pitch?
if I had to think of somebody, I like Max Scherzer's. I like his off-speed pitch, so that's what I try to think to myself. Throw his pitch.
Sure, that's a good person to model yourself after. Sometimes getting jams and the game gets kind of tight. Runners get on. The other team's trying to get some big hits. Is there a particular key in those moments? Anything you'd like to focus on or lock on that sort of maybe gets you through the toughest of moments?
Well, that example happened in the Scan game with the bottom of the 7th, 8 bases loaded with 1 out, and I just told myself I need to get this batter out. I can't worry about who's on base because we're up 4. Those runs don't really matter. I just need to get this guy out, and that's all I focused on in it. It worked. So.
Do you ever think big pitcher? Do you consider yourself one of the best pitchers in the section?
I wouldn't say I'm the best pitcher, but I would definitely say that I'm definitely a good pitcher, but there is room for improvement.
Well, Cazenovia is a good team. You're going to be having some big games coming up. I know all competitors want to be on the mound or be at plate, big moments. What do you tell yourself about that? Because I'm sure you'd pitch every inning if you could. You can't. But how do you approach those big games coming down the stretch of the season here?
Well, towards the end of the regular season, we have another great pitcher, Jack Allen, who also pitches very well. And then we also have a bunch of our 3rd and 4th pitcher, Jacob Greveling and Jacob Schlaw, both they both know how to get outs. they don't throw as hard as I do, but they get ground ball outs. So they do the same thing I do, just get outs, no errors. And that's how you win games.
Now, if you weren't busy enough focusing on baseball this spring, those who aren't familiar with Jack might not know that he's one of the best high school golfers in the section as well. Now he's qualified for the states, which are later this month. The golf season for boys is in the fall. The states will be in later in the May, but he can't just show up in the states and try and golf after 6-7 months off. So when he's not playing baseball, he's golfing, which sounds like fun, but a golf swing is a lot different than a baseball swing. So tell us in the leading up to the preparations of the states, how often do you play golf and how do you sort of keep the golf swing from influencing your baseball swing too much?
Well, I try to golf as much as I can on the weekends. So maybe like I'll go once a week, but I still have to make sure that my baseball swing is the best it can be, because baseball is a priority right now over golf. But I still try to make sure that my golf swing is ready to go by practicing on the weekends by myself or with my dad, because he's a good golfer too.
How's the game coming along, by the way, right now?
Um, I mean, I hit the ball pretty far still, but I definitely need some improvements on my chipping and putting, because I haven't done that in a while.
A few things could be more different than golf and baseball. You know, you're hitting the ball, but it's an individual sport versus a team sport. Obviously, a million other differences, but good athletes are good athletes. There's competitiveness. Do you sense that anything is transferable from being out there on the mound and wanting to, strike out, get a big out with a strikeout, and playing golf and sinking a big putt, not letting the pressure affect you? Is there anything that carries over from one to the other?
Definitely the mental aspect of the sport, because pitching, you have to be mentally ready to pitch. And then golf, like you can't get too excited over a golf shot, because then you screw up the next one. So both sports, I guess, they're both like huge mentally in when you play them.
Now, you couldn't be blamed, Jack, if you want to take the winter off and just kind of hang out and play video games, but you don't do that. You are also on the varsity basketball team. What is your approach towards staying busy? Have you always been like that? Do you always have to have something to do all the time?
Yeah, I mean, I've always loved just doing sports, whatever time of the year is. It's just that's my favorite sport at that time. So like when it's winter, it's basketball season. I'm all in for basketball season, and I'm always trying to help my team win as many games as we can.
Well, the good weather is coming or is here in Syracuse. How do you balance the summertime playing as much golf as you can, because it's a short window, but you also like play baseball? So what's the ratio there?
Well, I definitely play more baseball than I do golf, because I play on the travel team, and we go all over like the East Coast, and I get to play games. So I focus on that primarily over golf.
Mhm. Do you miss golf, or is it, that it pretty much has its place?
Yeah, there are times where I definitely miss playing golf, but I mean, right now I'm all baseball, because that's a team sport. I play for a team, and that's what I do.
Well, to be good, you have to play a lot no matter what the sport. Is there ever a stretch where you do nothing and just put all the balls, basketball, baseball, golf balls away for a little while?
Maybe for like a couple weeks past the golf and basketball season. I'm given like 2 or 3 weeks to just relax. But I mean, at that time, I'm working on my baseball game too. So I guess you'd say I don't really get much time off from sports.
Now you play shortstop when you're not pitching. You get a chance to help your team with the bat. Most pitchers are pretty decent hitters. How do you compare the thrill of delivering a big hit versus the pressure of the individual position on the mound, getting a big out on the mound?
I mean, I think they're pretty similar, honestly. Like getting a big hit, that's huge for your team, and then striking out the last guy in the bottom of the seventh is also a huge moment. So, I mean, I enjoy both of them.
Well, your win over Skinny showed again that Cazenovia will be, a team to contend with in the postseason, the playoffs, especially when you're on the mound. What do you and your teammates talk about? What do you guys feel are realistic expectations as the season heads towards the playoffs here?
Well, I mean, our Coach Mascari, has told us to focus on one game at a time. So right now, our focus is on our next game against West Hill, and then we'll get to the next game after that. So I mean, our team isn't too concerned about sectionals right now. We're concerned about working there one game at a time.
Okay. Well, speaking of your coach, you're just minutes away from the start of practice out in the field behind your school there, so we will let you run. But we appreciate you taking some time this afternoon and sharing your thoughts with us. Good luck the rest of the season. And thank you for joining us on syracuse.com's SOS Spotlight Athlete of the Week. We'll be back next week with another of Section 3's top athletes to talk, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.